This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace. Hello, everyone. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Morning Mysteries, where we're your hosts. I'm Alexis.
I'm Grace.
And man, we had to dust off the cobwebs, kind of reread our scripts, go back over things, because it's been a minute. It's been a while.
Has been.
Back. Yeah, we're back for our first episode of 2024.
Woo!
If you're not familiar with our podcast, or if you're just coming across us for the first time, we are a cartoon, comedy, crime, mystery show type podcast where we just recap episodes of classic animated shows that have to deal with mysteries, thrillers, scary monsters, adventures, or sometimes none of those things at all, just classic animated shows that we love, and we retell those episodes in true crime fashion. Usually the month of January we take off. We don't do any new episodes because we're hungover from the holidays and stuff, and trying to get our lives back together.
We got
exactly.
Get our shit together.
Yeah, birthdays and or getting our shit together, whichever, finding ourselves.
Isn't that what birthdays are?
What is meeting of pretty much every year. Like you said in our birthday episode last year, we're just crawling our way out of the sewer, peeking around, seeing what's on the real world, in the real world.
And getting knocked back down into the sewer by a car driving by and restarting the climb. That's what we did all of January.
Again. Yeah, pretty much. Still doing it. Yeah. As of this recording, it is still January, so I've got a few more days to climb out of the sewer.
True. We got time.
Yeah. But man, so this year though, we're going to start out with something crazy. Something I don't even know how to prepare the audience for the show that we're going to be talking about for the next 8 or I guess technically 8-9 weeks. How do we introduce this? Do you want say it?
I wrote a whole introduction because I always do the first episode.
Yeah, then I'm gonna hand it on over to you, unless if there's anything else I'm forgetting before we hop into today's mystery.
I would say, just context. We do arcs of shows, so we pick a certain show. We do 8 episodes of it, and then we go back and forth each time. We don't know what the other person's doing, which episode that they're going to describe to us. So whoever's not reading that day gets to be surprised like you all are. We also have a YouTube page, Saturday Morning Mysteries. So if you want to see our faces and live reactions, and we also have pictures of the show, go there, do that.
Check it out, watch it, leave a comment, subscribe.
Yep.
Follow on Instagram.
Oh yeah, Satmorn
Miss. Yeah.
Yep.
All the places where you can look at things on your phone or your computer. We're there.
Exactly. We're there. And after that, I would say prepare yourselves for this show, for this concept, this vibe, this experience we're all about to have together. Embrace it. So without further ado, Alexis,
a classic.
We can all probably agree that the 1970s were a weird time in America.
Indeed.
We were leaving the tumultuous 60s and their revolutions to enter a time with things like the oil embargo causing a gas crisis. Star Wars came out, the Iranian hostage crisis, disco music, Richard Nixon resigning, Microsoft got founded, Jonestown Massacre happened, which we've talked about on this show before. And in 1975, a new obsession and fear swept over the country like a wave. This wave was in the form of what is often claimed to be the first summer blockbuster hit in a film, setting the stage for the biggest film during the summer, which is what blockbuster films have become. Steven Spielberg's film Jaws, which I actually don't know if I've ever actually seen Jaws, TBH. I know, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's really good. People call it a horror movie, but it's.
I think it
like a thriller.
Was for 1975 because of what an impact the mechanical shark that kept breaking had.
Yes.
But I'd watch it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
And with this film, the country was filled with shark mania like never before.
Mhm.
And four fearless, innovative minds, perhaps the architects of the century, were paying attention. Their names, William Hanna, Joseph Barbera,
Yes.
as well as their writers, Ken Spears and Joe Ruby, who
The
super
legends.
cartoon nerds will also know are the creators of Scooby-Doo.
Mm-hmm.
And ready to cash in on this craze with only at the few years old Scooby-Doo had created of cartoon teens and an animal solving mysteries in action, and to jump on the Shark Mania train. These four minds came together in 1976 and created the single season, one-hit wonder, Jabberjaw.
Jabberjaw.
Yes.
One-hit wonder. Oh, shit.
Let's repeat the name again because it is a word that doesn't make any sense. Jabberjaw. So
Jabberjaw. Man, now I can only hear the theme music in my head anytime I hear it. No, the Jabberjaw theme music. Yeah, which is way more. It's well, apples and oranges to the Jaws music. There it is. I
don't know. We gotta maybe we'll slow down the Jabberjaw theme, play it backwards.
You could do a mashup. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Anyway,
all right,
go on. Yes.
I'll erase this from your memories, everyone, if we don't get it done. But if we do, credit to Alexis.
You're like, I'm gonna work on that. Not
that sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, that sounds like something you need to do. Cool, thanks. Working on it.
So, as per usual, at the start of our arcs, I'm going to break down what this show is about and our main characters before launching into the actual episode. Sometimes not really necessary when we do shows like Courage the Cowardly Dog, like most of us have seen. For this, it's extremely necessary because what is happening? Did you know about this show before you found it?
So I remember Jabberjaw, the character himself, because he's like popped up in so many other Hanna-Barbera
he does a lot of
things.
cameos.
Exactly. It's like if you think of if he were like a real world star, he would be like that person that's always on VH1, like behind the music or whatever. He just like pops up and like cameo and like guest stars and all these various
I know that guy.
But I never saw exactly. But I never saw or actually watched the show. So it's been an experience, and I have a lot to say about these characters. So I'll let you go ahead and start introducing them.
Yes, and please launch in with your comments and thoughts. So
I can't keep them in. Just you wait. Please do go on so I can interrupt you.
So similar to shows like Scooby-Doo and another series that we covered, The Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan, the formula in the 70s was simple. Get together some spunky teens, toss in an anthropomorphic animal with a personality, find some crime for them to solve, maybe add some funky tunes in there depending on the show. And that's it. That's the entire formula of cartoons in the 70s, and we love it. It's a perfect formula. Nothing is wrong with it. But this show really ran
something was wrong with this one.
This one is perfect in every way. It is everything I could have expected from a show called Jabberjaw.
Yeah, with the premise that it has. It's like, you get exactly what they tell you they're going to give you.
Yeah, exactly. Although, however, dear listeners and viewers, right now you're probably wondering, Grace, what is Jabberjaw? What is a Jabberjaw? Who, what, where, when, why, how is Jabberjaw? And also, what does this have to do with Jaws? Well, dear listeners, it's because the plucky animal who helps teens in this show solve crimes is a 15-foot great white shark named, you guessed it, Jabberjaw. And he's also the drummer in the band.
He is.
Because there is a band.
Oh, yeah, they're in a band, by the way.
He does play the drums. And now I'm sure you're also wondering, wait, are they all sea creatures? If not, how the heck is a great white shark the drummer of their band and
And
part
like
of
hanging
their
out with other living beings. Yeah.
and solving crimes together?
Are they also great white sharks too? Because wouldn't you want to eat or attack anything else that's not?
This was decades before Finding Nemo's Bruce said fish are friends, not food.
No, sorry. Yeah.
And don't worry, I was wondering this as well. Because no, the rest of the band, called the Neptunes,
Hmm.
is made up of four teenage humans who we'll go through in a second when we run through our main characters. And just know that the reason they're all together, these humans and this shark, is very simple. Because they all live in an underwater civilization and it's 2076. So, what other questions do you have?
None. You just answered it all. It
It's
all
about
makes sense in the way that, in the sense that it makes no sense.
it's about 52 years in the future. You guys don't think
Hmm.
we're going to be living in underwater civilizations with a best friend who's a great white shark at
Great
this
white shark.
point?
Yeah.
Check yourselves.
Get it together. You're not watching the right news stations. If not,
Our news stations, Hanna-Barbera. Have you ever heard of it?
I've never heard of them.
Boomerang. That's where it's all at now.
Get all the mobile alerts. Wow. Yeah, there's so much. Okay, sorry. Keep going.
I
But I
will
don't.
say it is very funny to be like talking about this in 2024 when the show's taking place in 2076, like
Hmm.
when we will be alive still. And
Yeah.
like but then when we think 100 years from now, we're like, that's when we'll be in underwater civilizations, just like they
Yeah.
did in the 70s,
I
placing the
was
show
gonna
100
say,
years in the future.
are we closer? No, we're not. I was gonna say, are we closer now to 2076 than we are to 1976? But we're not. Almost though, I
No,
think.
we're probably pretty
It's like
equal.
it's actually about equal. Wow, we're like right in the
Wow.
middle around that without us embarrassing ourselves trying to do math on air. We'll just say we're halfway there, which is crazy though to think
Yeah,
about.
that's pretty
Keep
fucking wild.
it.
Yeah, exactly. So this show follows these lives under the sea, which often get wound up pretty much on accident, actually. They don't really set out to be
Yeah.
solving crime, but
Yeah.
they're just like pretty good at it, I would say.
Hmm.
And so yes, their lives as this band often get wound up with some power-hungry megalomaniacs looking to take over the underwater world, and they fight to stop while playing groovy tunes along the way, of course.
Hmm. I will admit, very, very groovy tunes. At
Oh
least
yeah,
in the
well,
episodes I've watched.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll talk about
Anyway.
the music a little bit here and there to
Hmm.
like paint y'all a picture. So, like I mentioned, our primary characters that make up the show are the members of the Neptunes. So, we'll go through one by one here. First of all, Jabberjaw, aforementioned titular character, Jabberjaw. Yes, a great white shark, kind of with a Brooklyn accent.
Hmm.
He essentially is the shark equivalent of Curly from the Three Stooges, because
Hmm.
that is what the voice actor, who we'll talk about in a second, based the voice on, and like some of his like characteristics. I can't do Three Stooges impressions, but he often does the like, I get no respect, and like the yuck, yuck,
Yeah.
yuck, 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 yuck,
Yeah,
yuck
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's a better
Yeah.
impression. I'll have you do that one the whole time.
Oh no.
Um,
It like haunts me. I like hear it in my dreams now after
no
watching these stuff.
respect.
It gives me no respect at all. That's Rodney Dangerfield. But
But he
yeah,
does,
same.
he like
Yeah,
took
but he
that
says,
line.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
according to
almost a little
Wikipedia.
too much if you ask me. But anyway.
Yes, Wikipedia did say that they based that catchphrase, yes, on Roger Dangerfield.
Oh
I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
give no respect. So, yes, this
Also, how
shark,
creative. Like
yeah,
literally, he's just based off those two characters. That's it. But he's
they're
a
like,
shark. Like, what if
how
we
do we
get
make him
Curly and
stand
Rodney
out? Give a
Dangerfield, but
shark.
make him a great white shark? Oh wow, good job.
Say
Good.
no more.
Yeah.
The show writes itself. So this shark again is 15 feet tall or long, so he towers above people. Um, Unlike great white sharks that are like very sleek and like pointy, he's got like a huge round nose, little eyes, and like a giant toothy smile. It's very much like I have a feeling at least millennials end up, if you look up a picture of him, or if you're watching the YouTube and looking at the pictures we're showing here, something might spark in your brain as a memory, but basically like his upper half is huge, his lower half gets skinny. He's kind of like a triangle shape.
Yeah.
So yes, very cartoony. But he faces a hard life here in the undersea world because most of the underwater cities that are down there that all exist basically in like these huge domed bubbles. And to get from city to city, people just drive out in the open ocean or have scuba suits. But most of the cities themselves are sharkophobic, and they have robots at most of the entrances trying to keep sharks out. But don't worry, because I don't know why or how, but Jabberjaw kind of can shapeshift. He just like can like dramatically change his giant form. He doesn't like, become
Another
not like a
object.
transformer.
Yeah.
He can just flatten himself to become a curtain or like fit into a fishbowl.
Yeah. Or like a little
breathe.
bowl or like a little jar or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, like his whole 15-foot long shark body will fit into like a small box.
Like an ooze being, essentially, IRL.
An ooze being, a great white shark ooze being. Good God, what is this show? I love it. I love it.
Also, I mentioned the humans have scuba suits when they're like out and about in the sea. Jabberjaw can like totally breathe air normally and can go into the cities with no problem. Don't worry about it, because he also again plays the drums. Why are you asking so many freaking questions? But he's also voiced by Frank Welker, who is the OG voice of Fred from Scooby-Doo, and many other classic childhood voices. So clearly Hanna-Barbera, and then Ken Spears, and I think it's something Ruby, I forget his name exactly. Joe Ruby. Clearly called Fred straight from the studio doing an episode of Scooby-Doo, and they were like, get in here.
Come over here real quick.
Yeah, we got a couple lines for you.
Yeah.
They say, you ever seen Three Stooges? Perfect.
Let's go. Also, though, good Frank Welker, I mean, obviously he's iconic, but that's a huge difference in voices from Fred to Jabberjaw. Yeah. So
I feel like
showing off his talents, I guess.
He can do it all, baby.
He can. Yeah. He's still around too today.
Yeah, I was actually wondering that, and I was like,
I think he's the only OG voice caster from Scooby-Doo who's still alive, and he still voices Fred and all the animated stuff today. Yeah. Besides Velma. Yeah.
Good for him.
But he voices Fred's dad in Velma.
Oh, all right. Well, Frank, call us. We're big fans. Let's be friends. Let's talk about Jabberjaw. We want an exclusive interview with you about Jabberjaw.
Oh my God. Actually, that would be amazing.
And the creation.
Yeah. Please, I need to know where your mindset was.
What was happening in the writer's room?
He was method voice acting, like wearing a shark costume.
He did he got scuba certified.
Yeah.
He can swim with the great white shark.
We need to know, Frank. We have so many questions that you probably also don't have the answer to, but
but better than us.
Yeah.
So
anyways,
then we have our humans of the Neptunes. So first we have Biff, Biff, who is the lead guitarist of the band. He's level-headed, athletic. He's got brown hair that's kind of like gelled to be almost like a late 50s, early 60s, like rockabilly look. He also wears blue and yellow, this like all of that, basically everyone in this underwater world wears like almost wetsuits. I can only describe it as that because they're all just like, it's like Jetsons plus wetsuit is
Jetsons plus Sea Lab 2021.
Yeah. Like those are the fits, and they all just have different colors, but the women have like kind of a skirt at the hips that like points out like Judy Jetson's skirt did, and then like that's it. That's the look.
Yeah.
So yeah,
in various colors.
Yeah, and like different stripes, but like basically all the same.
Yeah.
Yes, and his is blue with a yellow stripe, very space agey. Then we have Shelly, who has main character energy.
That's one way to describe it.
She is kind of a jerk most of the
She's
time.
horrible.
And you know what?
Sorry.
All she does in the band is play the tambourine. And
Yeah, I
backup
guess they're like
vocals.
backup vocal. She's like the least significant member of the band, and
Useless.
she's the meanest person. Like she's
I think
awful.
she got a Napoleon complex because all they gave her was the tambourine.
Yeah.
And she was like, I need more to make myself stand out.
I'm gonna make them think that I'm more important than I am.
They will know.
Yeah.
This band one day will be called the Shelleys, not the Neptunes. It's her energy that she brings.
Yes.
But I will say, so she's meant to be, yeah, like the mean hottie of the group. But I will say, in credit to the folks writing her, she's also clearly the smartest one in the group.
Yes.
Like by far.
Yeah.
She has a love-hate, mostly hate with Jabberjaw. Which, you know, in some scenes I've grown more sympathetic towards Shelley because like we'll get to it. Jabber doesn't like decides to reenact a lot of chaotic scenes and like will unwillingly or use an unwilling Shelley to like throw through the air. So I've like grown a little more sympathetic around her in
She
my
deserves
episodes.
it. What do you expect when you hang out with a 15-foot long great white shark? Like you're gonna get
be thankful
roughed
he's
up.
using his fins, not his jaws. You jerk.
Hate to victim blame here, but she asked for it.
But
she
honestly,
asked to be yeeted through the sky, through the ocean.
We should.
Jabberjaw.
All right. I'm going to add this into my episode of like every moment where we think Jabberjaw could have snapped and eaten them instead.
This is why we have a podcast together, because there are multiple points in my script for the next episode where I said, like, mind you, this is a vicious great white shark who could attack at any minute.
Yeah, we'll keep that in mind with every scenario here.
All right, cool. Anyways,
Shelly's jumpsuit is, I don't know, like red and I think yellow, and she's got long dark hair. Then we have Bubbles, noticing a theme here, obviously. Yeah, big sigh around Bubbles as well. We love a Bubbles character in our cartoons. And this one is pretty much like the prototype, I would say. She's blonde. She's got like some crazy ass hair that reminds me of Bette Midler's character in Hocus Pocus, but blonde. It like sticks out in two triangles.
Calling it an afro is not accurate. It's just there.
It's like as if Bette Midler in Hocus Pocus did that hair, but with an afro and was blonde.
Yeah. Oh man.
She's pretty much an idiot. Also, my low-key surmising of her through my episodes I've done so far is that she's also maybe a narc, because she's always like, oh, let's call the authorities anytime something goes wrong.
Her first always jumps to that. Yeah. Yep. Okay. I'm sorry. I know you have a lot more to get to. This is going to be a really long.
Episode's wild. Go for it. Thoughts on Bubbles?
I have so many thoughts on Bubbles. Mostly
those
because
are all of my thoughts on her.
Because she has no thoughts herself. If there's a reason why this show didn't make it past one season, like it's the reason why, because she's almost unwatchable as a character. Like she's so not smart. I mean, like,
okay, here's more. And she also says it with
and her
true
accent, like the way she talks.
Yeah. She's like a Jersey Brooklyn accent from the not even 70s, but like from the early 60s.
Yeah. It's like deep RFK, like Kennedy level, but
yes,
like meets Valley Girl.
Yes, that's the perfect description.
It's crazy.
Like, she's like, she's what I would imagine. Like, it's What year did JFK get assassinated? It's the year before that. JFK's
62.
still president.
Yeah.
She grew up in like Kentucky and decided to move to New York City to make it big, but she wants to fit in and get rid of her Kentucky accent. So she's working as like a hostess at a club, acting like she's a native to New York, and that is the accent she uses. And also she's that like dumb and naive to move to New York City and just think she could make it there type of
Exactly.
vibe.
Yeah.
She plays the keyboard in the band. That's all I have to say about her. She wears lavender. Again, her only contributions are like fucking something up and being like,
let's
well,
call
we
the
should just
cops.
call the cops then.
Yeah.
And
it's, I will also say too, for her and even for Shelley, like just as to kind of summarize how the women are written into the show, like I got through my whole first episode and I was like, what were their names? They like never they never said their names. And so I had to like pull up the Wikipedia page. Like they never address these women by their names. And the women also like never have anything of substance really to add. Like, yes, Shelley is the smartest one, but she's mostly just mean and then says like a smart idea every now and again. And then, but it's like coded in very mean, like roasting other people. So yeah, she's being a bitch about it. And then on the other hand, you have Bubbles, who like she doesn't even speak in full sentences.
Like she is out to.
You can't understand her. So yeah, this show really rests on Jabberjaw and the next character that you're about to describe.
So it's funny because all of my episodes I've done so far have mainly been Jabberjaw, Biff, and Shelley.
Really? Okay.
I think I write Bubbles once in all of my episodes so far, and Clamhead like 3 times. So yeah, maybe it's just luck of the draw, but either way, the through line is that Bubbles is insignificant.
The other 4 we rotate through, but Bubbles, she's just there for, I think they want her to be comic relief so bad, but at the same time, they're just like, it's just kind of sad. I'm like, oh, Bubbles. Oh, honey.
Yeah, it's like she was like the childhood friend who's everyone was like, you have to include her.
Yeah.
Like the parents get mad when she's not.
No one else plays keyboard. No one else in the ocean plays keyboard.
Shelley's like, I'm willing to learn. And they're like, Shelley, God, stop trying to take the spotlight. And she's like, but we have Bubbles as our only other option. So then
maybe Bubbles' parents are rich or something. Who's actually funding the group?
You know,
it's either her or Shelley. It's got to be, because
let's give that to Bubbles. Let's give her that, because God, she needs something. She needs some type of purpose.
Yeah,
in this world.
It's nepotism.
We all need purpose.
Nepotism is her purpose.
You know what? It's a step of what she's been having as her purpose, which is nothing.
None. Okay.
So then we have our final member named Clamhead, which yes, is his real name. He plays the bass in the band and is clearly Jabberjaw's BFF. He's basically the Shaggy of this gang here, down to being super lanky, having kind of even the long face with the rounded jaw. He's got an orange jumpsuit, but like, you know, he's cool and goofy. So he's cut the sleeves off of it and it's like a little more loose fitting. So you can see he's kind of like slumped shoulders because he's just like, cool, man. He also inexplicably wears like a small white sailor's hat.
Yeah.
To make himself stand out more, I guess.
Yeah. He's like, sailors have to do with the ocean, right?
Yeah. So that is the basis for our show, which when we chose it, you so accurately texted me, what were the writers in the 70s on?
Yes.
And folks, we're about to find out.
Can I say one last thing too before we jump in terms of like the animation of this show, right? So it's been
there's something I wanted to point out about this.
Was there? Okay, so classic Hanna-Barbera, right? In many ways. But if I had to sum it up, I would literally say take, Scooby-Doo, any of your old school Scooby-Doo shows, and take like the Archie comics and smash them together.
Yes.
Because like all of the backgrounds and the like the side characters, like the background characters and stuff, that's like it looks like classic Hanna-Barbera animation, or like maybe The Amazing Chan is maybe more accurate than Scooby-Doo. But then the main characters like Biff, Shelly, Bubbles, and Clamhead literally look like they're straight out of Archie comics. Like their animation is so different from everything else in the show. And when you just said that about Clamhead being Shaggy, when I first watched the episode, I was like Jughead. Well, at first I was like, did they literally just copy and paste Shaggy? At first, like, that's Shaggy. And then I thought about it. I was like, no, that's literally Shaggy and Jughead.
Yes, absolutely. Which then like makes sense
just
with
mash
like
them. Yeah. Biff is like Archie with brown hair,
Betty
but like
Veronica,
also kind of has
blonde and brunette.
Veronica looks just like Shelly, pretty much. And then Bubble. I was like, they were just trying to find out like, who do we want to be more like? Archie comics were very popular back then, and like Josie and the Pussycats with like them being in a band. And so they were just poaching off of every single popular cartoon at the time in the animation. And that just always makes me laugh when I watch it.
That's such a perfect comparison because I was trying to place it beyond being like, this is just Shaggy. Yeah. But also like what you were saying earlier with like how they based Jabberjaw basically on like Rodney Dangerfield and the Three Stooges of like, I don't know what sticks. We'll just do that. Like, it also I think only got one season. Half-assed a lot of things, and like I know that like it's I would assume it's cell animation at this time still. We know that like early Scooby-Doo has some like funny animation mistakes, but like the amount of animation mistakes in this show, there's like some moments where like they think they've zoomed in on Jabberjaw enough to no longer give him a dorsal fin. Like the colors of people's outfits sometimes randomly change one click to the next.
I read on Wikipedia that apparently, so Biff has brown hair, but like there are 2 episodes apparently where he just has black hair. Like,
oh, to me those colors are like that usually like runs together. I'm now like, wait, what color hair does he have? Yeah, we'll call it dark brown.
It's dark. He's dark haired.
Here's the other thing that I just have to point out about the animation real quick, which I don't know. I don't think they do it. They don't do it for the side characters. Like they don't do it for the villains. They don't do it for side characters. They don't even do it for Jabberjaw. But the 4 main characters, I don't know if you notice this, you're going to notice it now. The way their faces are drawn is that they don't have any whites to their eyes. They have like a circle that is the eye and a pupil. It's flesh toned behind it, but they made the effort for all of the other side characters and villains to have the whites of their eyes.
That's what I'm saying. That's like, it's the side characters, the villains, the random backgrounds and backdrops are very like Amazing Chan, and like a lot more intricate in the animation. And then you get just like for Biff and Shelly. It's so strange. It's so
distracting.
Yeah, it is. I'm just staring at them the whole time. Like, did they hire different animators to do different things? Oh, they almost certainly did. They almost certainly did. Or they just like bought the cells from whoever did Archie comics at the time, or like all of the Archie shows.
It's just
like, hey, can we buy those off of you? And like, just erase Betty's hair and put an afro on.
Yeah, it's just like off-putting. And like if every character, including like Jabberjaw, had that, maybe it wouldn't stand out as much. With the fact that like, everything else has all of that detail, and then they just don't have whites to their eyes. It's very scary.
This is it's not giving anything away for my episode next week, but I will say that, so I did notice that, and while watching my episode, I was like, are they aliens? and there's a reason why. In my episode in particular, I thought that. So just like we'll put a pin in that until next week, but that may be another running theory that we have, that these are like teenage aliens who have somehow like found their way in the ocean.
All right,
this underwater civilization. Anyways,
we currently know much more about space than we do our deep seas.
This is true.
Space is studied way more, so we know more about Mars than we do our deepest parts of our ocean. So it could be. Just saying. So
Anyways.
with that build up, we hope you're all still here. We're excited to talk about the show, even though we just chat on it. And let's dive in to our first episode. So we start off with an aqua car, which is how people get around in this show. It's essentially like a multi-person jet ski, but in the open ocean, they have like a little bubble roof on it. And in the cities, they go convertible mode. And this aqua car has two dudes in the green wetsuits and full masks pulled down. They are currently driving through the open ocean, and they drive up to a big old like undersea mountain and shoot it with a laser beam. They love lasers in this show. And essentially a rock garage door opens and they drive on through. And on the other side of this rock mountain, like in the middle of it, it's basically been hollowed out in the belly of this mountain. And there is this huge tower-like thing, which TBH looks like, and now this is funny because of the comment you literally just made. It is shaped essentially like a purple UFO sitting on top of like a beam that aliens would send down to abduct people. So, I mean, I guess we're already proving your point immediately. Inadvertently, we're always on the same page on accident here.
Yes, that's how it works.
So, around this giant UFO tower, there are sharks and other fish swimming about, and these two men pull up to the tower and enter. And at the very tippy top of the tower / UFO, there is a bald man with a very thin, long mustache sitting atop like a gold dais on this very intricate, beautiful gold and black desk. He's in his red wetsuit thing, but has like a very high collar around it. And we learn that this man is the boss of these two dudes, and his name is Dr. Lowe. They bow as they enter and hand over a disc that they say has on it the response from the mayor of Aquahama on it. Because side note,
Aquahama. Oh, so like the Bahamas, but underwater.
Yes, gotcha. It is a city, and as you've noticed with Aqua Car and Aquahama, this is their naming mechanism in Under the Sea. They add the word aqua to the beginning or end of words, thus it's the underwater sea version of it in this civilization. Exactly. So they hand over this disc, and it's very funny because it's literally just a DVD, but it's 1976, so they didn't have those yet. Like so I was like, future. SpongeBob. Yes. And we see that, yes, Dr. Lowe pops it into a slot, and a recorded message comes up on the screen. In this recorded reply, we see the mayor of Aquahama saying, "The threat to destroy our city unless we meet your exorbitant ransom demands has been carefully studied by the Aquahama City Council. But by unanimous vote, we reject your ultimatum and warn you that..." But then Dr. Lowe turns this message off, having heard enough from the mayor. Clearly, Dr. Lowe issued some type of threat to the city, gonna hold them ransom unless they give into his demands, but clearly Aquahama did not want to negotiate with terrorists, so they said no thank you.
Seems like a lot of power for a city council anyways.
Yeah, it's like in different episodes we do see more of like this undersea world city government or like world government, and like sometimes it's like these are countries, there's like a UN, but sometimes it's like a city council. So I actually think like they just use the word city to mean like individual country of like, if you're in this bubble, we are one.
It's your city, but type
of thing. But yes,
the future, man, it'll be interesting.
Has been wild.
Yes,
it's only 50 years from now, folks.
I know,
as of recording,
52 years away.
Yeah, exactly. As of this exact recording right now, you know, some of the states in the country are, you know, ready to leave. So
and others are ready to fall into the water. So it's
So maybe it'll work out. Maybe Texas will break off and fall right into the water, and bam,
we'll see.
Aquahama.
Hydro Texas.
Texaqua. So Dr. Lowe jumps up from his desk, turning that DVD off, saying, "You fools, I'll show you all." And from his desk, he pulls a small box that we had seen was like kind of shifting around and moving a little bit. And he pulls off the lid and says, "Patience, my Gorgon, you will have your day soon." And he laughs. And from the box, we see a very small, almost like a mouse-sized sea creature. I'll describe it in a moment here, but know that technically a Gorgon comes from Greek mythology as the three daughters of a sea god and a sea monster, possibly making them like these immortal sea demons that can turn people to stone. Medusa being the most famous of the three sisters, although she turns out not to be immortal. But this Gorgon does not look like Medusa or her two sisters. It's like it's very cute when it's small. It's basically like a webbed-footed Godzilla.
But
called
like
a
dinosaur.
Yeah.
But that's not a Gorgon at all.
Yeah, exactly. Like stands on 2 feet. It's got the little like spined rib and tail. It literally is just like
sharp
small,
teeth and
or
like
it's just a small. It's like baby Godzilla.
Actually, I think Godzilla has webbed feet
in the ocean. I mean, he comes from the ocean.
Yeah.
So Anyways, there's no other connection to Greek mythology beyond that.
Basically, Dr. Lowe has baby Godzilla, essentially, is what's happening right now. Okay, cool.
And like,
he mixed up his books. He's like, yeah, this is a Gorgon, right? Yeah. His henchmen are like,
it starts with a G.
Yeah.
Geo.
Geo. What more do you want?
And like, I don't know, maybe it's an underwater civilization because there was a huge nuclear war that eventually happened, forcing everyone undersea. And doesn't Godzilla come from like the US nuking Japan, I think?
Yeah.
I don't know my Godzilla lore, so sorry.
That is exactly how, though.
Great.
Yeah,
great job.
right.
It's because I looked
from
up for
the
2
nuclear testing in general, but yes, also involved in Hiroshima. Yeah. Anyways,
I only know that because I took 2 seconds to be like, wait, Godzilla's not a Gorgon, and to look it up. And I was like, it's a Greek mythology shit. Anyways.
And then you got halfway through the Godzilla page, and you're like, oh shit, I got to finish my script.
I read the first 2 sentences where it said like whatever it was, whatever the type of Japanese monster it was, and I said, great, thanks. Yeah. So this small baby Godzilla, Gorgon, ain't small for long. Dr. Lowe, who loves lasers like everyone else in this world does, laser teleports our Godzilla Gorgon to like this pen outside of the tower, like out in the open ocean. And we see him up in his high office shoot down at baby Godzilla with his Magna Ray laser gun. And it makes Gorgon Godzilla grow and grow and grow and grow until he's as big as the tower, until he's taller than the tower, until he is full Godzilla-sized baby.
Oh my God.
Zilla. And so the Gorgon is roaring, and Dr. Lowe commands him to go bring Aquahama to its knees. And we see this good boy Gorgon Godzilla doing exactly as he's told because he's a good boy.
He doesn't know anything else. Yeah.
Exactly. He was in the box being little and
2
cute.
seconds ago. Yeah.
I know he's huge and angry and probably not fed.
Hungry.
So we see him immediately cut to Aquahama. Him attacking these buildings, which like also all exist in big bubbles. So I guess, I don't know, he can also breathe air. But basically Aquahama is literally just underwater Tokyo. So yes, it is Godzilla.
Okay. Yeah. Again, they're not being that creative.
Nope. Someone had an Archie comic on their desk and
a Godzilla comic or their Godzilla movie. Yep.
Say no more.
Yeah.
So yes, we are basically in Godzilla right now. All of the defenses of Aquahama are coming out in droves, trying to shoot lasers here at Godzilla-Gorgon. But we hear the head of these defense forces telling the mayor that nothing is taking this creature down. Meanwhile, outside of the city, the Neptunes, aka our humans and Jabberjaw, are cruising in their aqua car on their way to the next gig. Cruising might be an overstatement though, because these are like Mini Cooper-sized cars that are holding 4 humans and a 15-foot great white shark.
Don't forget, he can't swim beside them. He has to ride with them just in case they want to chat.
It's literally like all of the humans are like cramped forward because Jabberjaw is like pressed against the glass ceiling of this car, like hovering over all of them. And I think this is our first like point of being like,
he's massive.
He could just, his mouth is already dangling over your head. He could want more room and just chomp one of you right out of there.
It would be so easy.
In a heartbeat. It would be so
like
easy.
He's already in the position. He just has to
like barely open
down.
his mouth.
Yeah.
Like maybe the only reason he can't is because it's so cramped.
Mm-hmm.
And Shelly, of course, is complaining about how they either need a smaller pet or a bigger car. And everyone is like, Shelly, fine, we get it. Shut up. Like, I will say they all like fight back against Shelly, which like is satisfying.
They don't like her. It's clear. They're like, man, if we could get rid of this tambourine, but we really need it in this music. So
but it's so
we just have to
right
deal
now.
with her.
Yeah. They're like, Shelly, God, shut up. We get it. We're gonna be in the city soon for our gig in Aquahama, of course.
Of course.
Jabberjaw is basically just like blubbering, like yuck, 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 because it's literally all he can do because he is again smushed into this tiny car. He cannot move.
He can hardly breathe.
Exactly. And at this moment, they are getting closer to this literal absolute war scene. But all they see from their angle is just a bunch of lasers everywhere, not monsters.
Mm.
So Bubbles, the idiot, goes, fireworks. I love them. And that's like her like one of 2 lines in this show, this episode. But Clamhead, sometimes yeah, I'm better for it, frankly. Clamhead, who like sometimes is dumb too, is like, wow, there must be a celebration going on. And Jabberjaw is getting stoked too. Maybe the celebration is for them and their show that night. And Shelly, realizing, hearing them say that there's a party going on, pulls out this like, it's almost like a 90s like brick phone. So again, impressive for 1976, I guess.
Futuristic.
Yeah, that's actually a small makeup robot. So it has like little buttons like eyeshadow, foundation, lipstick. So basically she's pressing and do her makeup. But Clamhead is like, girl, don't do your freaking makeup in this small ass space. You know that Jabberjaw is allergic to it. And Shelly rolls her eyes like an asshole and says, what's more important, that I look good for my fans or his dumb hay fever? Which, as someone with hay fever, I took a great offense to. Personally, with extreme hay fever that I have.
Grace is like, I fucking hate Shelly. Okay.
Yeah, at this point, again, like she eventually grew on me for like being kind of the only smart one. But at this point, I was like, Jabberjaw,
you're a better woman than I.
Click the eject person. You're still in the open ocean. Get her out there. Open the door, flick her out, call it good.
Do your makeup out there.
Yeah. See how it goes. But she continues to powder her face, which I guess has grass and hay in it. And the car fills with powder, completely obscuring their view, so that when they do drive by Gorgon Godzilla, who is now swatting the laser cars from the air, the aqua cars from the air, they don't see it at all until Jabberjaw finally lets out a sneeze big enough that he flies out of one of the doors from the car, from their aqua car, and slams right into the belly of giant Gorgon Godzilla.
Okay, not at all terrifying.
Nope. I mean, it's not for Jabberjaw because he looks up and at first is like, well, hi. to his new friend. He's smiling, he's waving.
There were a lot of things that I imagined he would say in that situation, and that was not on the list.
He's friendly.
Especially like
He's
that. Well, huh?
He's like, I'm clearly some type of freak of nature because I'm a shark who can talk and
Who
play
can
drums
talk.
and breathe underwater or breathe in air. You're clearly a freak of nature. We should be friends.
Hi. Yeah.
Hi. But the Gorgon is no friend of other freaks
Mm-mm.
of nature. He immediately grabs Jabberjaw to presumably bite his head off, but thinking quickly, Jabberjaw bites the Gorgon's webbed hand, which
Ooh.
must hurt because he's a great white shark and they have a pretty incredible bite strength.
Mm.
And the Gorgon roars in response and starts trying to fling Jabberjaw around to get him off of his like webbed paw fin thing. It's at this point that the powder finally clears from the car.
Oh, good.
Just in time for his friends to see the Gorgon finally be able to lick Jabberjaw off of his paw and roar again. His attention is now on Jabberjaw, who's clearly done more damage than these laser aqua cars had.
Oops.
But Jabberjaw hasn't taken a Benadryl yet, still having his allergic reaction. So he sneezes right into the Gorgon's face.
Oh my God.
That
Ew.
launches him into a rock wall outside of the city limits, causing a rock slide that starts to pummel the Gorgon. And it's either from fear of being crushed to death, or keep in mind, he just got his face sneezed into. And this is only 50 years after COVID.
Yeah.
So it's in a living memory.
There's probably still some variant going around, even.
Exactly.
Maybe that's why they're underwater.
COVID 76.
Yeah.
And so with this in living memory, the Gorgon flees the city, probably immediately to go home, mask up, take some COVID tests.
Exactly.
Just in
quarantine.
Exactly. He's going back to his pen.
The Gorgon will be gone for at least 14 days, so we're good. Time to regroup and rebuild the city.
They need to make a larger Q-tip to stick up the Gorgon's nose. To test.
It's like a skyscraper size Q-tip. They like have a crane lift it up. Yeah.
So the rest of the Neptunes cheer and call Jabberjaw a hero. And the city of Aquahama all saw this happen too.
Wow. They
basically saw Jabberjaw bite this Gorgon, do something to his face. They think maybe throw rocks at him, et cetera, et cetera. So the city of Aquahama also hailed Jabberjaw as a hero and are holding a citywide affair hosted by the mayor and the city council to thank Jabberjaw for saving the city.
Okay.
And this is a televised event, of course. And so Dr. Lowe sees the ceremony too and yells at his henchmen angrily that somehow a shark scared away the Gorgon Godzilla creature and demands that they go get rid of the shark first before he deploys his Gorgon, which again, he was like, that shark could be COVID positive. My Gorgon is not getting sick. You too, because again, they have masks on this whole time.
There you go.
Go get that shark.
Go get him. Yeah.
Yeah. So
stay 6 feet away though.
Use some long spears. Use your lasers.
Yeah, laser guns, exactly.
So post citywide ceremony, the Neptunes still have a gig to get to.
Oh wow.
So, yeah.
What a big day for them.
Just you wait.
And it's just getting started.
Getting bigger, baby. So they all dash to their hotel to freshen up before the gig. And wow, Jabberjaw's in the shower, which is like a funny concept. Yeah. A shark taking a shower.
Okay.
Yeah, it's wild. He's like sudsing up in there. We see the henchmen straight creeping into looking through hotel windows until they find Jabberjaw's hotel, which happens to be, I think they got upgraded to the top floor suite because, hero of the city. So they're like, great, this is so much easier. They land into their aqua car thing on the roof, blast a hole through the roof, and in a surprise attack Jabberjaw and
Oh
start
shit.
tying him up.
Just trying to take a nice shower, man.
I know,
Can't.
just trying to relax
Let me
in this
guess. He
world of
said something
water
about he probably in this world of
and more
water.
water.
Is at this moment did he say I get no respect at all?
I think he does, but it's through muffled because they immediately cover his mouth, which is smart. They were like, this loud mouth.
He's so annoying. Jabber.
No.
Yeah.
Is what he sounds like. But he is, of course, also struggling. They are trying to now bring him up through the hole that they came through, which again is also funny because like these two human men think they can lift a great white shark
Yeah.
straight up through the hole. They're not in the open ocean right now because great white sharks can weigh from 1,500 to 4,000 pounds.
Light work. Let's go. Lift with the legs, men. Lift with the legs.
Again, maybe in the open ocean, you can like use that to help you out. They're in the city at this point. Pressure has returned to normal. They're like, and he's flinging around, making noise, etc.
He doesn't float in here.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I know he's in the shower, but that's not the same.
Yeah.
Just because it's water. God, idiots. So
Maybe in the year 2076, humans are like ridiculously strong.
Clearly not. No,
They're
not. They can't lift him.
Oh, they don't get him up. Okay, never mind. Never mind.
No, they are like incredibly struggling. And Clamhead and Biff, who are sharing a room with Jabberjaw, are like getting annoyed at how long his shower is taking because like they have a gig to get to. They're just supposed to freshen up and he's taking so long. So they decide to like pull a prank on Jabberjaw. Somehow they're able to, from outside the bathroom, like press a button to like up the water pressure and how much water is coming out. But instead of like, pulling a nice prank to be like, hurry up, Jabber, come on. It instead starts to just absolutely flood the entire bathroom, bursting the bathroom door wide open. The two henchmen use this moment because they have to fill it up in the bathroom to swim out, jump out of the car because obviously they don't want to get caught, and jump out of the hole and back onto the roof. And Jabberjaw flies out of the bathroom in this wave of water, still tied up, squirming and screaming. And I'm like, yes, maybe they are a very popular rock band because they just trashed this hotel room.
And they're not even worried.
Water damage fucking everywhere.
Rock and roll lifestyle, baby.
Rock and roll, baby. And Hero City, no one's going to touch me. I'm untouchable in Aquahama. So Clamhead and Biff untie him while Shelly and Bubbles burst in because obviously they heard all the commotion. Jabberjaw is immediately explaining that he almost just got kidnapped and he thinks it's Dr. Lowe's men. So I don't know if Dr. Lowe is like a well-known villain. I get the sense in this show.
Have they met him
yet?
I
get the sense throughout this show because at first I was like, oh, is this like the equivalent of like Mojo Jojo? Like how he was in the first episode of the Powerpuff Girls to be like, this is enemy number one. Does he appear again in this show? I don't know. But throughout the episodes I've watched so far, I do get the sense that like these are like well-known villains in like this world. They always have like some sense of like the name of the villain. And then I was like, oh, is this just like the equivalent of like the Jeff Bezoses? It's like Elon Musk of the world because they're all like geniuses and horrible, evil people. So I'm like, maybe.
They're infamous.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of my theory going here. But anyways, Jabberjaw reenacts what happens again, using Shelly as a replacement for himself. So again, like throwing her around as if she's getting tied up and like launched through the ceiling, which is both funny and I'm like, okay, I get why she like sometimes hates Jabberjaw because like, damn, at least she's Bubbles. She doesn't do anything.
See, that's the thing though. If you don't say anything, like the reason Jabberjaw does that is because she's so mean to him. He doesn't do that
like
to Bubbles.
in class. If you don't want to get called
has his best friend,
like,
so that's why they like kind of like tussle with each other, but like
Throw around.
Biff and Bubbles like never get thrown around or anything like that.
Again, they both keep their head loose. The teacher doesn't call on them.
Exactly.
But I will say, Clamhead and Biff are like, well, obviously they're on to us. Like, they don't want us around because of what Jabberjaw did. Let's like switch hotels so they don't find us. Shelly is like, great idea. And then I think in literally her only like second line, Bubbles is like, yeah, sounds good. But let's first call the authorities. So she hops right on the phone. Of
course.
Asks the operator to connect them to the authorities because I guess in 2076 we still have operators
and we don't have 911.
Yeah, maybe again, nuclear war destroyed above. We've been rebuilding
communication
from below.
Systems. Yeah, all of our brightest minds were lost in the in the melee, and
so are only now using
just
their power for lasers.
Yeah. And to harvest gorgons, baby gorgons.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, man, I used to create communication lines. Now, though, I'm getting into the mythical history of gorgons.
But like my twist on it,
Yeah.
So as the call is connecting, everyone's like watching Bubbles, and she's like, it's going great. I got this. But the call gets intercepted by the henchmen, who were obviously like immediately tapping into the physical phone line because that's how operators work. So the henchmen just act like they're the fucking cops.
Oh, God.
And Bubbles tells them everything. We're relocating to this hotel. We just almost got kidnapped, but we got to go play our gig first. And here's exactly where we're playing our gig. LOL, can you come help us? The henchmen are like, yeah, sure. We'll send a car. Help you ladies out. So Bubbles.
Oh, Bubbles.
Ask no further questions. Whatever. Bubbles is bubbling, if you will.
Bubbles got a bubble. Mm-hmm.
Bubbles got a bubble. So they rush to their gig. They're like, we'll go to our new hotel afterwards. We're running a little late because Jabberjaw's shower took so fucking long, almost getting kidnapped. Also, they had to save the town from a Gorgon, had to stop by an official citywide ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
They have like big moments from getting to their gig. And so they are like, let's put this aqua car in autopilot. We can warm up right now on the road for our gig so we don't totally fuck up because, again, we're already running late, fashionably late for this gig. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, this song, it's a fucking bop. Mm-hmm. It's like, I would describe their music. Feel free to take like your input in as well. It's like a combination of a couple things. I would say it's like early to mid 60s, like 2 years away from like psychedelic rock coming out, like early Beach Boys combined with like Little Shop of Horrors, like bebop music, but like within 2 years, all of the Beach Boys, they'll discover acid and like get into psych rock, like 63, 64 time period here.
Yeah.
And it's a bop. I
that
love
exact
your
transition.
Musical take on what style of music they're playing.
Agreed. It's a bop. Psychedelic rock. And so to be fair, they probably play different songs every episode would be my guess. So I only know like the episodes that I've watched and stuff. But from the ones I've watched, psychedelic rock, but almost like the perfect combo of rock, funk, and at least in the episodes I've watched, like soul, even kind of. There's like a weird like soulfulness to it. Like it very much sounds like one of those classic 70, almost not quite Earth, Wind and Fire, but I don't know, maybe something along those lines. But yeah, more rock infused. It's interesting, but it's so good. I'm like, who did they get to write this song? They clearly put all of their focus on the music. And we're like, yeah, we'll figure the people will watch it. It's a great white shark. How can you not? But the music has to be banging. And
I
it
mean,
is. It's
it was
really good. Like I can't,
1976. Like
yeah,
there was some good ass music happening. So they just hadn't
for
had
sure.
like a decade of incredible,
Yeah.
groundbreaking, gender or genre bending music. My
Yeah.
literal next line is I don't know who did the actual music and songs for this show. If anyone can find out, please tell me. Because, yes, like
Yeah.
I think they pulled some strings to get like, I mean, maybe they did call someone from Earth, Wind, and Fire,
Maybe.
called someone from the Beach Boys.
You're
Like,
right. I don't know. They
they
had the
were like
swing, the
collab.
sway. By then, Hanna-Barbera for sure. In the
Yeah,
70s,
exactly.
yeah, they could have gotten someone. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting because I know we said like the Amazing Chans, like they had great music too, and they did,
They had
but
wild music.
they did, yeah, it was wild and concerning some of the lyrics. But
Yeah.
Jabberjaw or the Neptunes, I guess, like I would actually download these songs and like listen to
Yes.
them or like put them in my
I feel
playlist and
like
just
this is
yeah.
the greatest like lost collaboration to like the sands of time that like we can't trace because then like these incredibly famous artists who made the music saw what was done, like how the music was used, and they were
Easy because
like,
they saw the show and they're like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me?
erase our names.
Yeah.
But you know what? I've never really watched the credits, so I'm gonna watch the credits to see what it
Yeah.
says.
Yeah. We'll have to do some research on that,
Investigate.
dig deep
Yeah, but
because
like
yeah, the music is great.
every song is amazing. Like,
Hmm.
yeah,
The
like I would
chase scene
fully listen
songs
to this.
and their original songs are all like
Yes. Which I
really
think are like
good.
meant to be the same. I think it's like how
Yeah.
they did in the Amazing Chan, like every chase scene is their song from
Yeah.
somewhere in the episode. So yeah, it's fucking incredible. They didn't have enough money to color in the whites of their eyes, but they used that money for the incredible
The
music.
music. Hmm.
It
Fair.
was worth it.
I'm okay with that trade-off. Yeah.
Exactly. I'll get over the terrifying
Hmm.
eyes, unblinking, soulless eyes
Skin colored
that these
eyes.
possible aliens have. So unfortunately, their catchy tune gets cut off because the henchmen of Dr. Lowe drive their aqua car, which like aqua cars also again because they can like swim through the open ocean, can drive in cities, but also are like flying cars almost. They can just use I don't know, physics to their advantage here. Hover above the Neptune's car and send down an abduction beam from their car.
Of course.
So they've gotten some of the alien tech, perhaps.
Yes.
And the rest of the band tucks and rolls, but they're able to zap up Biff and Bubbles,
Oh God.
which just turns out to be the most useless people Dr. Lowe could kidnap.
It was like, well, that sucks for him. Yeah.
This was a waste. So he's pretty pissed at the henchmen when they come back with Biff and Bubbles
You got these
because
two.
he's trying to interrogate them about Jabberjaw. And while Biff is just like not budging, he's refusing to say anything. Bubbles is like, my mother told me to never talk to strangers and refuses to say anything else.
So her third line of the episode.
Yeah, she's like crossing her arms as she says it, as if she's all tough. And Dr. Lowe just throws them into a prison in his tower, hoping that the rest of the band at this point will hopefully come and try to rescue them.
Mm.
And his bet pays off because we see Shelly and Clamhead, in their aqua car out in the open ocean, following Jabberjaw, who we'll say it's very cute. Basically sometimes like turns into like the equivalent of like a hound dog. Because he'll be on the outside up in the open ocean, like sniffing the ground with his little butt and tail up in the air, following a scent that he picked up, trying to follow his friends. And yeah, basically catch a scent, see where they went. And this scent trail leads them to that same undersea mountain that we saw at the beginning. And they start feeling around on it and they realize that it is hollow. And Shelly and Clamhead are in like their scuba gear now. And they want to figure out some other way to get inside. So while Shelly is like, there must be an entrance somehow, Jabberjaw and Clamhead are like, we'll make our own entrance. And they basically like they like, how do I describe this?
Do your
Jabberjaw
best
gets totally,
thing.
totally vertical, and Clamhead like winds up his tail, so he's fully twisted, and it turns into like a drill, basically.
His tail does. Yeah.
Like all of Jabberjaw does. He gets twisted. His whole
No.
body is
Yeah.
twisted.
Okay.
All of Jabberjaw. His nose gets pointed into a drill jackhammer situation. And when
Okay.
Clamhead lets go of this now wind-up toy shark, Jabberjaw is able to just drill a hole beneath the mountain and make a hole fully up until they pop up underneath into the other side of the hollow mountain. And that's the best I can give you.
That's fine. You
That's
know?
I've done my
You
best
know?
with what I'm given. Please
I
forgive
stopped
me.
trying to visualize what it looked like a long time ago.
Honestly, good. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
throwing me that bone. Again,
Yes.
this shark can
Can't
breathe
relate.
underwater, talk to humans, and play the drums. What can't
And
he do?
we'll be saying a lot of these exact same things in my next episode. So in our next
I've tried my
episode.
best.
Yeah. We're gonna try here. We're gonna do the best we can with Jabberjaw, but Hanna-Barbera is not
We're trying.
really not doing us any favors.
Yeah, not
So
throwing us a lot of bones here.
yeah.
So they pop back out, yes, into the hollow mountain to see Dr. Lowe's UFO tower, which on the outside of it indeed has the Gorgon Godzilla in his pen, roaring angrily, etc., etc.
Mhm.
But despite the Gorgon and the other sharks swimming about, I think Dr. Lowe has like two henchmen and that's it. I think he was like, this mountain underwater thing is good enough because they like very easily get into the tower, get up to the UFO on top, and start sneaking around following the scent. And they very easily run into Biff and Bubbles, who are in this like definitely this like jail, but it's like just a clear door that's holding them back. So we see it's them. We see Jabberjaw gear up to like ram into the cell wall. And Biff and Bubbles, like Biff like pushes both of them back into like a solid wall. And he says, great, now we're either gonna be freed or killed. Because Jabberjaw's entire plan is to just fucking ram the
Yeah.
wall and
Yeah.
break it down, which
He's like,
like
I don't care what happens to you guys. I'm getting out of here.
yeah.
Again, another instance where he could kill them all. Jabberjaw could kill them all, not necessarily eat them. I mean, he could eat them at any time. I guess he could eat them
Yeah.
now if he's hungry.
But this could
But
obliterate them. I literally wrote, but yeah, he's a great white shark. So he obviously rams this clear glass door cell thing and obliterates it into thousands of pieces. He's a fucking 4,000-pound great white shark. So luckily, yes, Biff and Bubbles knew to like cover their faces,
Mhm.
et cetera, et cetera. But of course, a fucking alarm immediately goes off.
Oh, I didn't know they had those down there.
They've got like it's clearly like a jail cell. There's like a pad next to it, clearly to lock people in.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever, Biff and Bubbles are freed. The henchmen are alerted and immediately zip down towards this prison break. And a classic Scooby-Doo style chase ensues to their own music that they were playing earlier. Again, it's a bop. It's very fun. They all start trying to hide in certain rooms. This is where we see Jabberjaw's skills, his ooze superpower. At one point, he hides in a little fish tank. At another point, he flattens himself out on the ground perfectly a la a rug, and they run right over him. And when they're gone, he pops back up into shark form and says, they could have wiped their feet up first.
Oh,
no
God.
respect, no respect at all. But seeing this happen, Jabberjaw has a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Shelley straight up calls this plan dumb, and they start very loudly fighting about it, of course, giving away their location. So they have to run again before whatever the fuck his plan was comes into fruition. I will say, we never see what his plan was. It was dumb enough that everyone was like, plan yourself out,
stupid.
and then fucking what? We're humans, Jabberjaw. We can't all act like
do that. We're not ooze.
Yeah, we are not ooze beings. You idiot.
Oh my God.
So they dash into the closest door to hide, and it happens to be Dr. Lowe's gold-clad office that we also saw at the beginning.
Of course.
They successfully hide, but they are able to hear just outside of one of the doors to this office Dr. Lowe berating his men to get their shit together, basically, and catch the henchman and the shark who's now invaded the HQ. And soon, while they do that, he will go focus on the next stage of his plan, which is to use his Magna Ray machine to grow 100 more Gorgon Godzillas to storm Aquahama. So he's breeding them. Yes.
What is his... Okay, go ahead.
What's his goal?
Yeah, this whole time he's just like, what does he want Aquahama for? But there's not going to be anything left. If you have 100 Gorgons. Okay, that's fair.
He has the power to breed and build Gorgons. Or, it could be
very different from architecture or plumbing.
His office is beautiful and gold clad. He has taste. And maybe, you know what? Maybe he's hoping that Aquahama will surrender with this force because they also don't want to be mauled to death and smushed to death. So I think he's banking on them eventually just giving up and giving in.
Or there's precious resources underneath Aquahama and he doesn't care if there's anything on top of it. So he's just leveling it anyway. And okay.
The hundreds of Gorgons could turn into his workforce for all we know. Exactly. They already listened to him.
Yeah.
I don't
Might
know.
as well.
Could be.
Yeah. Anyways.
He's clearly willing to sacrifice his henchmen to possibly the COVID positive shark. And or the elements or just this dangerous shark in general. So he doesn't really care about people, I think.
I can see that.
Of the vibe here. He just wants the resources of Aquahama.
I'm just trying to figure out what's his motive? What drove him to this? But it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter.
You know what? He could be Aquahama famously does not negotiate with terrorists. Let's see what my Gorgon Godzilla creatures can do.
Yeah. We're gonna get a breakthrough here. We're gonna get a breakthrough, a diplomatic breakthrough through 100 Gorgon Godzilla.
Yeah.
It's not war, it's diplomacy.
Exactly. Aggressive diplomacy is his vibe. So yes, they hear in the office here, the henchmen run off and Dr. Gorgon.
It might as well be.
Dr. Lowe leave to go get all of his Gorgons. At this point, Shelley overwhelmed by this show.
This show it's fucking with our brains, man. Anyways,
it's about to get more wild. Shelley jumps out of her hiding place and is like, look at that fucking ray gun that's called a Magna Ray, which somehow is pointed straight at the Gorgon still. She's like, this is what made this creature bigger. Let me just hit the reverse button and make the Gorgon smaller. Which she successfully does. She points it right at the Gorgon, reverses it to small instead of giant.
Instead of Wombo, Wombo.
She turns it right upside down, baby, right on that bell. And immediately makes the Gorgon back into mouse size. And then she yells at Jabberjaw to get back out there and snatch the Gorgon while he's still small, which he swims out to go do. But of course, this is loud as fuck. Them all arguing about this, them all celebrating this success. And Dr. Lowe, of course, turns right back in, calls for his henchmen. They fucking saw their giant Gorgon monster, Godzilla, shrink because a laser beam hit it.
Yeah.
So like pretty fucking obvious what happened here.
Right.
So yet another chase ensues with the henchmen going after Clamhead, Bubbles, and Biff, while Shelly and Dr. Lowe just start to fight over the ray gun. And they keep going back and forth of who has control of it. Jabberjaw got down to the Gorgon. The Gorgon was able to slip out now through like the bars of his pen. So it turns into a montage of Gorgon being small, Jabberjaw swimming after him, Dr. Lowe getting a hold of the gun, making Gorgon big, turning around, starting to chase Jabberjaw.
Yeah.
Very smartly, Shelly gets a hold of it next, and instead of shrinking the Gorgon this time, she makes Jabberjaw giant.
Oh my God.
And because both of their starting sizes were so different, a mouse versus a great white shark,
he's like massive.
Jabberjaw gets fucking huge. Like far surpasses the Gorgon. And the tide of the chase turns. And at this point, like, yes, this great white shark could have destroyed absolutely everything and everyone.
Yeah.
But Dr. Lowe is able to normalize Jabberjaw's size, going back and forth, but thinking quickly. Jabberjaw's clearly seeing this plan is not working. They just keep going back and forth from each other. With the Gorgon back to normal size, Jabberjaw back to giant Godzilla size, Jabberjaw to his normal size. He swims into the tower this time. Shelly is able to shoot the Gorgon one more time, get him to Jabberjaw's size, medium size, and is able to follow Jabberjaw into the tower.
Okay.
In a nearby hall, Bubbles, Biff, and Clamhead. I just shortened Clam because it's
stupid name. Of a Clamhead. We can't name him Jughead. What's an underwater thing? Clamhead.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I'm mad now. Archie Comics fucking sue Hanna-Barbera over this.
That's why I'm like, I have so many thoughts about this show. I love it for so many reasons, but it also is very annoying.
I didn't even put together. I'm mad. I'm mad now.
Need
the rest of this episode. And somehow these three are able to like get the henchmen to like crash and like get beat up and like steal their outfits.
You look apparently so there was mad. A third. Sorry. You look like you're so done with this.
Like, here's why. Because one, there's only two henchmen. And now there's suddenly a third to steal the uniforms of. I think maybe they're unionized henchmen. It's the future, so we can only hope we all are able to have unions now. He would just get back from his union break that they take very seriously. But also, they steal their uniforms. And there's no point. They don't do anything with it. And by the time we see them again, they're back to their normal outfits. Like, there was no reason to have that happen.
They're trying so hard. I feel like they're just doing way too much.
Yeah.
What is going on?
So that is what happens with them. It has no follow-up, no point. We never see them in the actual outfits again.
Oh. We just assume. Okay.
So, anyways, that aside, Jabberjaw is able to lead the Gorgon all the way up into the tower, into the main office. This is where he, being a whole ass shark, is able to overpower Dr. Lowe and Shelly, obviously, and get the gun and shoot the Gorgon until he is mouse-sized, and then they snatch him into the little box that he had started in. At this point, Dr. Lowe is trying to fend off Jabberjaw, but Biff, Bubbles, and Clamhead heard the commotion. They ran in. Again, they're in their normal fucking clothes again, so they had time to change back.
They just wanted to try
them. Why like, I'm mad.
They're like looking for new performing costumes. So they're like, hey, this is kind of similar to what we had in mind. We should try them on while we're here.
Ooh, not our color though.
Yeah, no, never mind, not this.
Again, maybe the like cell animation, they just like fucking forgot they did that 8 seconds ago.
Yeah.
But either way, Biff runs over to the machine while Dr. Lowe is trying to get the box from Jabberjaw. And Biff just absolutely like fucks with the buttons. That when Dr. Lowe is like, oh, this is pointless. I will make all of you tiny, essentially, and make my Gorgon huge again. He runs over and takes it back, and he hits the button to first enlarge the Gorgon, and then he's going to shrink everyone. But Biff somehow had fucked it up enough that he set it to shrink and somehow reversed the direction of the gun so that when Dr. Lowe shoots it, it backfires on him, shrinking now Dr. Lowe to be the size of an itty-bitty mouse.
Oh my
Somehow
God.
this is too much for the gun, and it basically sparks and disintegrates right in front of them.
Good timing.
So I guess Dr. Lowe can never be human-sized again. He is now small forever. He can be in the world's tiniest prison. I'm not sure.
Aww.
I know, kind of cute. With his little baby
Yeah,
Gorgon, he
aw.
could ride the little
It's like-
Gorgon.
You know how they do like the little tiny kitchen thingies, which are always so
Yes.
adorable. They do a tiny
He's in that
prison.
now. It's actually
Yeah.
honestly cute. It's a cute ending.
Yeah, it's adorable. Yeah.
He can be with all of his hundreds of Gorgons now, all the same size.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And naturally, Aquahama hears about this defeat of Dr. Lowe. We see them holding another ceremony to honor Jabberjaw. This time he's getting a whole ass medal. He's bowing. I assume the rest of the Neptunes is getting one too, because they're all there on stage. Jabberjaw, yeah, they did slightly less. No, did fine. Jabberjaw is up there hamming it up. He loves to flex for the press. He loves to take deep bows.
Mhm.
Even Shelley tells him he did a great job. And that's it. That's the end. I don't know if they turned in Dr. Lowe and the apparently 100 mini
If
Gorgons
they stepped
everywhere.
on him.
I don't know if they destroyed all of the Magna Rays or if Aquahama's like team came in and like scooped up all of this tech for themselves. I don't know if the Gorgons now are just living there on their own. There's happy little family, which seems pleasant.
Yeah,
That's the
cute.
end. That was all in one day. I think they got to their gig at the end too.
Wow. They got 2 medals, two public ceremonies honoring them, fought off I don't know how many Gorgons and an evil billionaire villain. Man, and all in time to get to their gig. And I assume that
and
the
had
little
time to freshen
song-
up.
And yeah, to freshen up. Yeah, long ass shower. You know,
Yeah,
Shelley was
time.
wise. She did her makeup in the car. That was good of her to save some
Yeah.
time. Did they play the or did they like show the clip of them performing at the show at the end?
You know, I can't
Because I was
remember.
going to say, I assume
all
it was
of-
yet another banger. They had a
Yes,
great
all
day.
of my other episodes does show them performing at the end. So I think this one probably did, and I just didn't write it down. But I think it's like on the stage that they got the ceremony, and they were like, "We're doing it,
like,
fuck
okay.
it, we're doing it live."
They're like, all right, move the podium. Everyone else get off stage. Move the ribbons and stuff. They just like
Our
put a
time to
curtain
shine.
down that says like the Neptunes. Yeah.
Exactly.
Done.
So that's it. That's the first episode of this show.
Wow.
We
Wowie,
did it.
wow.
Wow, 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 which is another
Which, by the
catchphrase
way,
on this show.
yes, Clamhead says it again, way too much. So
always. So there we go.
So great job. Amazing.
Thank you.
I don't know if it could have been done any better. I know you said there are some parts you're like, I don't know how to describe this. No one does. Even
No one does.
Ken Spears
They
and
didn't
Joe
even
Ruby
know.
are like, we don't know. We're just
We don't
gonna
fucking
like
know what
draw
we're
some
doing here.
shit and we'll hopefully arrange it in a way that kids can't look away from.
Honestly, I couldn't look away from this show.
Me neither. It was hard to.
I'll give them that.
It really is hard to. Yeah. So they definitely achieved that. They achieved that for sure, which is why it got 15 more episodes, 7 more of which we will
take you all through over these next, the next 8 weeks will be the show. I will say a little teaser. We will have one brief interruption for a very special episode amidst all of it. But next week, Bird here will be taking us through another wild ride. I can't freaking wait to hear about it.
Dive. Yeah.
Your wild dives. Yes, exactly. I can't fucking wait. And between now and next week, what should or who should our listeners and viewers tell about this show?
Wow. I think this time around, you should tell the mayor of whatever town you live in.
Love it.
And their staff, and see if they're honoring any heroic sharks that week.
Ooh,
Go check it out. Yeah.
Perfect.
Who should they tell?
I think after that, you should tell Frank Welker. I bet he's on Twitter / X or whatever.
Nice.
Maybe on YouTube, Instagram. I don't know what his socials are. But go tell him about generally our show, and specifically that we're now covering this arc. Tweet at him.
Yeah.
Link us.
Yeah. We talk about Frank all the time without even knowing it.
Exactly.
In so many of the shows we cover. Yeah.
Yep. And till next week. We'll see y'all then.
Till next
Bye.
week. Oh God, I can't wait. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on, so just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.